I bet she'll be entertaining as fuck to have on the show. So there's that at least.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know who else is entertaining as fuck?
Who's that? Who?
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to PixelLit. My name is Kevin, and with me, as always, is Phil.
Hello.
And today we are reading, recapping, and reviewing our continuation of Alan Dean Foster's Shadowkeep. Not Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, just Shadowkeep.
No,
not at all.
It's become impossible to find anything about this game.
There is nothing that you can find online. You just put Shadowkeep. It has been obliterated by the Destiny 2 train.
By the way, I am still amazed that one is hanging in there as well as it is, because I was working in the games industry when that game came out some 6 years ago. So
Destiny came out 6 years ago. Destiny 2 is 5 years ago. Okay. 2017. Yeah. So you were still at.
I was at Scuff Gaming.
Yeah, you were still at that controller company.
Yeah, the esports place.
The esports. Sports.
Sports. Eh? Sports? Eh? I literally had to sit there. It's funny how often that sort of thing comes up when you're back in the normie businesses. Yeah. Because I work in tourism now, and one of the guys who is literally, he runs the sports division of our tourism industry, and he went to an esports convention just to see what it was all about, and he came back, and during our monthly meeting was just going, I'm telling you, they were just sitting there watching them play video games. It's crazy. And I'm like, this industry has been around for years.
Yeah.
It is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and just come on.
I have a feeling they shouldn't be sending the traditional sports guy to cover this.
It might not be a great idea.
Might not be the right fit.
But I had to raise my hand at one point and go, yeah, I used to work in this industry, and this is how it works, and gave him a quick rundown of certain things they want to know. Yeah. And now they might be calling me in to help figure that out. So. Right.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, you have background in the industry, so if they do want to do some sort of event in Greenville or the surrounding, Greenville is your bailiwick. That's
pretty much it. Yeah.
I was going to say the surrounding area, but no, that's your Greenville, and that's it.
He was like, there were people dressed up as characters and everything, and he's like passing around his phone with this picture, and he's like, and someone's like, who's she supposed to be? Why is she wearing? Are those goggles? That's weird. And it gets to be, and I'm like, that's Tracer. That's Tracer.
Her name's Trace. The character is Tracer, and it's Overwatch. And
it's Overwatch.
Overwatch 2 is coming out this year, and it's one of the biggest games.
You wouldn't believe how thirsty people were for this character when she first came out.
The thing is, Tracer's gay.
Right. That is canon now.
That's canon now, and so is Soldier 76, and it was...
Oh, I always forget that he's gay.
Yeah, for Soldier 76, it was one of those too little too late kind of moments. Be like, well, you kind of waited 4 years to drop that bomb.
Right.
Like, it would have been nice if we knew that right up front. But I think
we always knew that Roadhog and Junkrat had something going on.
They definitely had something going on. I don't think they are returning for Overwatch 2. They have a new person called the Junker Queen, who is just like the hot version of them. And
damn.
And she's like built like Zarya a little bit, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That stinks. Roadhog was always my main. I don't think he's competitive anymore. It's been a long time.
No, it's been such... you know what? I used to know all of that stuff. There was a good year or two where I was like, oh yeah, no, this is the current meta. The current meta is like 3 tanks and blah, blah, blah. And, it was, I had that knowledge, and it is all gone.
Yeah. It's because it's like Destiny. It's like now it is for a select small group of people not small, but in video game terms, probably pretty small.
It's their everyday game.
Right. This is just the game you play. It's WoW, the way that.
Yeah, I mean, Destiny has a lot of stuff to do in it. Like there's the raids and all that fun stuff, and all the, you can spec out your character with the armor and the weapons and I
really liked the aesthetic of Destiny, but it wasn't compelling enough for it to be like something that I would drop everything for.
Yeah, somebody bought Bungie, didn't
not Microsoft. What am I talking
about? Sony.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Which is wild that they went from they were owned by Microsoft.
Yeah.
Got out of that. They were owned by Activision. Got out of that, and then they were bought by Sony.
And they've survived the whole time. Like at no point were they dissolved. At no point were they like. It's subsumed into the they are untouchable. It's fucking amazing, actually.
It is bananas. Absolutely bananas. But you know what? We're not talking about Destiny 2. We're talking about Shadowkeep. We're talking about the novelization written by the king of novelizations himself, Alan Dean Foster. And we left off at chapter 5 last week. And so we get to chapter 5, and chapter 4 ends on like a cliffhanger. There's some goblins off in the distance. What are we going to do with some goblins? And basically the group sees that the goblins are attacking a caravan of these like lizard people called the Zista. And they're a migratory lizard people that travel to warmer weather. So basically they're cold-blooded. So they need to just constantly be on the move to like, oh, well, it's going to be winter here soon, so we got to travel to where it's summer. So I thought that was kind of neat. And he's building the world. Like we've already got a kangaroo guy and a elf style kind of race. Yeah. Elf descendant.
And this was back when you could introduce a whole race with just a few sentences describing them instead of actually having to go into 40 hours of canon on who they are and where they come from. Like you could keep it simple back then. It was before. This is 1984 or 84. 84.
It is about 84, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It was before the nerds demanded all of the footnotes, basically. So,
well, yeah. It's before that, but also after that, because what's his face? Tolkien. Basically,
well, that's true.
What's this? The
Silmarillion.
Silmarillion. Yeah, he did that shit already.
Yeah, that's true. And no one, but I think that's the difference.
No one's ever read the Silmarillion.
Well, that's true, but I don't think anyone was trying to go toe to toe with it either.
No.
So they were like, that was really cool. No one's going to do that ever again. Cut to,
if you claim to have read the Silmarillion, no, you haven't. Shut up.
You haven't. I actually listened to a podcast where the guy he just had a child and has been reading the Silmarillion to his kid who is 6 months old just because that's what he's reading. And he's like, well, the kid needs to hear, what I'm saying.
Was that on?
Was it?
It's probably not Aliens.
It's probably not Aliens. I'm getting him. That was Tristan who did that. Friend of the podcast. I think I got them mixed up with another podcast I'm listening to, which also just had a baby.
And look, I'll be on. It's probably not Aliens. If the timing works out, my guest appearance will be this week that this episode comes out. So
nice.
Go over there.
That's
and
perfect
maybe
timing. See, I did that on purpose. This is your second appearance on the show.
It's my second appearance on the show. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're talking about Hollow Earth. Hollow like a chocolate bunny on Easter.
Yeah. I love that freaking podcast.
So, Silmarillion. Yeah. So basically Sranel and Proctor are like, nah, forget it. And Meryl's like, no, we have to actually do something about this. Because we are morally good. We are on the good alignment chart.
And we get into some weird stuff here, by the way. That seems some really
weird race stuff that I was like, huh. And basically, because Proctor is like, well, we're more like the goblins because the goblins are warm blooded. And they have smooth skin like us. They're not. We're like the goblins. We're not like the Zista. So I don't know why we would get involved. And Meryl's like, it's not appearance that makes people like a race a people. It's the fact that they have culture and laws and
the goblins I suppose?
Do not. Yeah. And so I was like. So she's like, we are more like the Zista, even though they are cold-blooded, than we're like the goblins. And it's like, okay.
Like, at one point, she literally says they're not people.
Yeah.
And I mean, and in a world right now where, we still see these debates within D&D over certain races in the game being automatically considered evil, like goblins, orcs, etc.
Right.
I found this to be very, very interesting. It tells you a lot about where we were with the sword and sorcery stuff.
Right, exactly. That there are inherently evil creatures. And not necessarily evil. I think her point of view was it wasn't necessarily evil, just that they weren't you're not killing people. It doesn't count.
Yeah, it's more beasts than anything else.
You're killing more beasts that just happens to know how to use tools rather than a person. Which I don't know, the whole scene kind of skeeved me out a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Like I feel like Meryl was really like they were both arguing the wrong thing. Like
yeah.
It was like Proctor was like arguing not to intervene because we're more like the goblins, and Meryl's arguing to intervene because the goblins are subhuman.
Right.
And I'm like, no, you intervene because the goblins are the aggressor. Like that's all you have to say.
You intervene because they're trying to kill women and children down there, and it's
and
that's why
immediately to this like right-wing talk show discussion.
Right. It gets a little collar pully, just
oh, can we move on from this?
Boy. It's
boy.
like, yeah, no, we kill because it's like, because think about it. If it was a pack of wolves, it was a pack of wolves,
easy
still
decision.
Wouldn't have been the right argument.
Still, no, it would not have been the right argument.
Because you're like, well, wolves aren't people, so we can just go ahead and kill them. It's like, that's kind of fucked up. No, you're trying to defend these people from an aggressor.
Right.
It's
not like we just go around killing goblins like willy-nilly,
Right,
it's not
exactly.
Like we're trying to...
Maybe they do in this world. Maybe we'll find out later.
Maybe we'll find out later that that's actually a thing.
The Thaladar are like genocidal freaks when it comes to goblins.
Yeah. So basically the goal is the goblins have blockaded the end of this little ravine that the Zista caravan is in, and they have to clear our party has to clear that blockade in order for the caravan to move on. And they do. They get in there and they just start kicking ass. And there's one quote that struck me was after Proctor kills his first goblin.
I was going to bring this up too. Okay,
he thinks to himself, how simple it was to kill. He discovered he didn't like it one bit.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. It's right after this question of personhood with goblins, he does at least have this moment where it's just like, oh yeah, killing people's super easy. I don't like it though. So it's like, okay, all right, we got some lessons here, I suppose.
And he really starts dipping into like this mild existential issue of like the morality of his prior job as an armorer, creating these weapons that their only purpose is to like tear through flesh and kill people. Like,
right. He's like, well, this is the first time I've actively killed somebody,
right?
But it's certainly not the first time I have helped to kill somebody. You know, like he has supplied the weapons and that sort of thing. Is then he complicit, which is way deeper than I expected to read in an 80s sword and sorcery novel.
1984 sword and sorcery novel based on a game called Shadowkeep. I mean, that is a deep cut right there.
It really is. It's fascinating.
So they win. They fight off the goblins. They clear the blockade. The Zista caravan is able to move on. And now that they're moving again, the goblins have really no recourse. The Zista warriors are able to like basically cut down. What we find out is that the Zista are just like these merciless warriors, and they are so strong and so fast. The only reason that they were trapped is because they had to block the arrows and spears from hitting the children.
So they're just kind of stuck at that point.
They're just kind of stuck.
Defensive position.
But they get out, they get up to the plateau, and they reform their caravan into a defensive position, and they kind of stop to make camp and tend to their wounded and things like that. And so Proctor goes up to one of the Zistas and who is working on tending to one of the wounded warriors, and the Zista, who's only ever referred to as Senior Mother, tells Proctor about how there is no Zista word for fatally wounded. Which I thought was really neat. She said, either we're dead or we're not, we can recover from just about any injury. So it's like you either they're killed right then and there, or if you leave them living, they will recover eventually from the wound that was given to them. And I was like, that is actually kind of interesting. That's an interesting little...
It immediately put into my mind like game mechanics.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so do you automatically, pass any fortitude check you need to resist like dying or bleeding out or something like that? That's pretty tough shit.
They have to be, you have to overkill them. They can't, like, they automatically pass death saving rolls or something like that. That's OP as shit, man. It is. Yeah. So she also tells Proctor that basically they will never stop fighting when there's children involved, because they do not have a traditional familial setup where it's just the biological parents who raise the children. It's literally the village. It takes the entire village raises all the children, which is a very, thousands of years ago. That was more in the line with the way humans used to raise their kids.
Absolutely.
It was more about the group rather than just the biological parents.
It's a nice detail in like subverting that expectation of, colloquially, thinking of something as cold-blooded and seeing it being this family unit that they're very, very close-knit indeed. Very,
very close-knit family.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really cool detail.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. And, so basically the Senior Mother continues on and is like, well, we owe a debt to your party. And Proctor's like, forget about it. And she's like, no, it's law. It's Zista law. We can't just forget the obligation that we have to you. And he's like, I'll just take like an extra sword or something. And she's like,
sure.
Nope. She's like, nope, we gotta repay life with life. And he's like, oh, what does that mean? And basically, we have a new party member.
Chewbacca joins the team.
They send
Wookiee life debts the fuck out of him.
Life debts the fuck out of him. Might as well be. In terms of strength, It's basically a Wookiee. They're going to ascend with the party. Their finest warrior, named Hagrod, or is it Hargrod? Hagrod or Hargrod?
I think it's Hagrod. Hargrod.
Hargrod. He is their finest warrior and also the one who is able to withstand cold the most. So
he's the tankiest tank that ever tanked.
The tankiest tank that ever tanked. So basically, Hargrod is like, all right, I'm going to go with you. And Proctor's like, welcome to the team. Maybe we'll even be friends at some point. And Hargrod's like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. Like, no. It'd be a lot easier if we weren't. Thanks.
he's like, no. In fact, as soon as I consider my debt to be paid, I leave. And I was like, oh, okay.
I respect that. Got to get back and tend to the children.
Yeah, he has a wife that he is leaving to do this.
Hey, that a bitch.
Yeah,
you're getting attacked by goblins one minute, and the next your husband's been volunteered for a suicide mission to Shadowkeep.
Exactly.
Fun. This has been a real fun Tuesday.
Yeah. Sranel does not like Hargrod because the Zista are not fun people.
No. Sranel, by the way, this section of the book that we're reading is where Sranel starts really getting on my goddamn nerves.
Sranel goes from like, oh, isn't he a fun character? And we're like, God fucking damn it.
to the 6-year-old that you feel like you have to swat every 5 minutes. And we're not quite there yet, but that's just like a hint of it. It's like, oh man, these guys aren't very fun. Shut up. Can you fight until you're literally dead? Then fuck off, kangaroo. I like the way I said kangaroo. It sounded like I was kind of slurring or something.
Yeah, I don't like that. I didn't like that. Kangaroo as a slur. That's...
Yeah. Not a fan. Anyway, chapter 6. We're just going to leave that there. Yeah, let's leave that one in the dust.
And let's leave that one in the dust. So they take off on their journey. They're going down the road. They have Proctor and Marold have a brief discussion. And I thought it was kind of funny. Basically, the end of the discussion is Proctor will stop treating Marold as if she's like a delicate flower and breakable. Mm-hmm. And in return, Marold will stop flirting with him.
This poor girl back home. Janice, is that what it was? Janice?
Whatever. Ricency.
Ricency, that's what it is. Yeah, just this poor girl. She gets basically no mentions. She gets like one mention in this section of the book.
Yeah.
And otherwise, this guy is just falling all over himself over this elf. It is so sad.
And Marold's just laying it on thick. Like,
she knows what she's doing. She's 80 years old. He's not the first boy she's flirted with.
Oh God. So he's like, I can't. I'm betrothed to another back home.
I got a girlfriend who's age appropriate and everything.
And Marold's like, well, you stop treating me like I'm breakable, and I'll stop flirting with you. Is basically how that happens. And he's like,
okay. And do you think either of those are going to happen? Or
no, I don't think so.
No, probably not.
Proctor has definitely has some sexism that he needs to work through.
It ain't over. It ain't over, folks.
So on their way, they have the DM rolls the dice, and they have a random encounter with a caravan of humans fleeing from the direction of Shadowkeep. Marold, can you roll perception for me, please?
Yeah, it's like, yeah. He didn't say initiative, right? Okay, good.
Okay. Oh, so you see a caravan. Okay. So yeah, there's a group of humans.
It really does feel that way for a lot of
these. It does feel that way.
It does.
So they see a group of humans fleeing from the direction of Shadowkeep from a town called Kept Basin.
What a name!
That is a great name. And Kept Basin is the town that is at the foot of Shadowkeep. From what I gathered. They
in the shadow of Shadowkeep.
In the shadow of Shadowkeep is a town called Kept Basin. And it's a, quaint little town. And they talk to one of the travelers, an old man who is, he's bringing up the rear of the caravan. And he basically gives them the lowdown of what's going on. Kept Basin started getting hauntings. There were wraiths that kept appearing in people's homes and emerging from the keep. And also, it also seems like it's always night there for some reason.
I think our town's cursed. We should probably go.
So everybody packs up and heads out. And then the old man tells them about, even though the town is completely empty, there is probably one person still there. And that is an innkeeper named Norrell, who has not left his inn behind. And he also says, and there's rumors that Norrell has more to offer than just rooms for rent.
Right.
So and then the guy moves on.
Don't they say that his explanation is like, look, I sell to people and now I'll sell to demons. I don't give a shit. That's fine. That's basically his explanation. He's like, I'll sell to anybody. I don't care. So, he's truly a both sides are bad sort of fella.
Exactly. So they arrive at Kept Basin. A few days later, the soil's been corrupted. It's endlessly foggy, and they see Shadowkeep in person for the first time. Basically, Proctor says it was designed by someone who is clearly not an artist. It is grim, stolid, and dull. So it's just, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. A wizard who has no real sense of architecture or artistry basically just threw this thing together. And we're like, okay.
That, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it. I couldn't help but think anytime you've seen these grand mansions and castles and stuff designed by, that this is a trope, these places that are built for wizards, and he just holes himself up in there with all of these important tomes of knowledge and does, experiments and stuff. And there are always these grandly beautiful places. And I never thought about it until now, but it's like, oh yeah, they would probably be ugly as shit. It would just be really, it's just brutalism and East Soviet bloc kind of concrete walls and everything. But it's got priceless treasures inside. So
my secret admission is that I kind of like brutalism.
Brutalism is pretty cool. No, I'm with you. It is pretty cool.
I kind of dig it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just love how imposing it is.
It's very imposing.
Utilitarian and imposing at the same time.
I don't blame you.
So they meet. Oh, and Proctor and Merrill have another back and forth. More flirting back and forth. Proctor's like, please stop calling me young. And how would you like it if I started calling you old or elder? And she's like, okay, fine.
Careful, Proctor. She's going to start calling you daddy next, and you're really not going to know what to do then.
Who's the daddy? Clearly it's Norrell, who is a big fat man. They meet Norrell.
Big dude.
Just a big dude. They estimate at one point that's written, they estimate he's tipping the scales at about 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Just a beefy man. Real tough to get a read on. He's like, I am neutral. I am Switzerland in this whole humans v demons debate.
He's a weird character.
So weird. He's so antagonistic and condescending in different ways to each of the party members, too.
Right. But then he's like, all right, well, come on, let's all get drunk and have a big meal. And then suddenly he's like super supportive and very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So they basically, chapter 7 begins with them realizing that with Norrell preparing a huge feast and so that it's more food than he typically cooks. He's like, well, I got no other travelers to tend to, so I'm going to make a big meal. And I thought it was great that Merrill is described as having moved away from the group, and her male companions are assaulting their plates.
Yeah. I love that line. Yeah.
She just like moves a few seats down because she's kind of disgusted with how they're eating.
I imagine there's a lot of food flying in the air too. Just like a lot of shit ain't hitting the target, you know?
Yeah. Oh gosh. They all retire for the evening, and Norrell takes Proctor into a back storeroom to show him
such a weird scene.
Such a weird moment. And it's a weird moment for nothing to happen.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So Norrell takes Proctor back into this storeroom, and it has all of this, you know, it's basically like the building. It's at the end of the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Norrell just has all this stuff that top men should be looking at in the storeroom. Top men. It's beautiful. They call him Beloche. That's.
We could do this all night, guys.
We could do this. Belloc.
And you know, I get the feeling we might.
We might. So it takes Belloc takes Proctor back into the storeroom to show him some things that he has for sale, relics, potions, etc., etc. And there's this golden ring that Proctor is really interested in. He's also like, well, maybe Merrill would like it. And be like, how about your fucking girlfriend, Proctor?
He's already, He's like, he left his girlfriend. Is like, baby, I'm going to bring home riches and shit. Look, I'm just saying, I know a lot of enlisted guys like this dude. Like just, baby, I'm going to bring you back so much cool shit. And we're going to have a family and live in a cul-de-sac. And the first foreign girl that catches his eye, who are we talking about back home? Nobody.
Ricency? That doesn't sound like a real person.
That's not a real name. You made that up. I think I'd remember if I promised my precious, precious virginity to a woman named Ricency. Pretty sure I'd know.
Pretty sure I'd know. But yeah, he's like, oh man, this ring would be great for Merrill. And Norrell's like, great, it's 10,000 gold. And Proctor's like, what the fuck?
Like, and I love, and the guy's like, and he really seems, he says like, hey, look, I know not to judge a book by its cover. I thought maybe you might have had the money. And he's like, no, I can't even wrap my head around that kind of money.
And he's like, well, everything else is pretty expensive. And Proctor's like, hey, I think I'm good. And
he hustles him out of there. He starts to realize that's his budget. And he's like, oh no, we're moving on. Never mind. Forget I said anything.
So they wake up the next morning. Norrell feeds them.
Hold on real quick. And that's it.
That's it.
Like the whole scene is just a sales pitch.
Norrell basically brings him in for like, he's like, listen, I know this town is a little empty right now, but I got some timeshares.
That's exactly what it is.
They got Keep View. So you have a view of Shadowkeep from the backyard.
Okay.
You get 3 days a year. And
it's called Glen Ross Farms. And
it's called Shadow Glen.
It's called Herbalife. And
Herbalife.
Yeah, he's trying. It's like his fucking what do they call it? The
multi-level mark MLMs.
Yeah, MLM. It's like he's pitching his MLM to him.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's all that happens.
That's all that happens, and they move on.
It's such a weird scene.
It's a weird
so
scene.
Weird.
I assumed it's gonna come back later as important, but
it has to, doesn't it? Like, it has to.
Yeah. We'll see.
I hope. Like, I feel that that's kind of a big miss if like that doesn't come around in some way.
like at all.
It's such a weird scene.
Yeah. So yeah, the next morning Norrell gives them a huge breakfast, even though they can't eat anymore.
Right.
And they're like, all right, we're going to go walk over to Shadowkeep now, because that's the thing is Shadowkeep is it's just like over there. Like it's like across the street from this inn.
Yeah. It's up the road.
Or like, we're going to leave our horses with you. If you can take care of them, and we're going to go into Shadowkeep.
We're going to stop at the Bojangles along the way to Shadowkeep, which is just up the road.
Oh God!
It's so casual. Like, they're here now. Like,
what's Bojangles?
And it's
known
funny
for?
because we're about halfway.
Fried chicken, right? Bojangles is fried chicken.
Yeah. 24-hour-a-day biscuits, my friend. Some of the best biscuits in the world. So damn good. And I was starting to get to the point, because we're about halfway through the book now.
Yeah.
And
almost exactly halfway through.
Yes. And we have been collecting our party so thoroughly that I was starting to go, I swear to Christ, if this book ends with them standing outside of Shadowkeep, I'm going to lose my mind. So the fact, like some elaborate prologue, because I know that in the game, you have a party of 10.
Sure.
And so there was a part of me that was like, I wonder if it's just this whole book is him just collecting a party of 10.
And then it's like Shadowkeep loomed ahead.
Right. Right. And it's like, you want to find out what happens next?
Play Shadowkeep.
You can by playing the game. Like, but no, we're actually going to go in now. We're going into Shadowkeep.
We're going in. They come up to Shadowkeep. It's got a big old door, and they are like, well, what do we do? How do we do this? And Merrill is like, okay, watch this. And she
Merrill.
Fucking Merrill. She basically goes up and she like touches the door in some random ways, and then the door talks to them. It says, speak the word. And she goes up and like whispers something to the door, and the door opens. And Proctor's like, how did you know that? And she's like, it was obvious, and refuses to explain anymore.
And explains nothing. And basically just chides him, like, you really need to start paying closer attention to the shit that
that's going on around you, buddy. And Proctor's like,
what the hell?
She's like, come along, dum-dum.
Yeah. That's exactly it. It's like, dude. What the fuck, man?
Merrill gets so rude in this.
I was like, I found myself like flipping back and forth. Like, I was just like, wait, what?
Did I miss something?
The hell?
No, the only person who could see it, who could figure it out, is Merrill. She solves the puzzle, and they don't even know that they're trying to solve a puzzle.
Right. Right. They got no idea.
They're like, what? Okay.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad she came.
So Merrill walks her arrogant ass into the building.
Yeah, seriously. But what an ass.
But what an ass. If you are Proctor, you're still thirsting after it.
Just thirst. It never ends.
Speaking of thirsting, Sranel sees an all-silver altar and decides to be the absolute dumbest character in the book.
This is literally Sranel's first game of D&D. He exists to be the most stereotypical rogue in the party.
There's an altar made completely out of silver, and he's like, well, you know what? That's all I need. Let's drag that thing out of here. We melt that baby down. Wagons are going to have to like carry that amount of silver back. And they're like, no, we're not here for that. And Sranel's like, you're not here for that. And they're like, Sranel, don't touch it. There's a rune in the ceiling above it. And Sranel's like, whatever. And then he touches it and he gets hit by a lightning bolt.
Yep.
He gets flung across the room, and they're like, "Is he dead?"
Yeah. They literally assume he's dead at first. They don't even. He's like, well, fuck, he's dead. And I think his Meryl just pointed, she's like, no, he's stunned. He's just stupid as hell.
Meryl's like, nah, he's pretty much just an idiot. And Proctor just like kicks him awake.
Right.
It's like,
what the fuck?
So they give him a lot of shit for being very greedy, and they move on. They move on to the next room.
You think to yourself, all right, he's learned his lesson.
Clearly.
Yeah,
100%. Mm-hmm. Srannel is not going to try to steal from Shadowkeep again.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
So they move to the armory, and there's like an anvil and a hammer, and Proctor and Meryl debate whether Proctor should hit the anvil with the hammer, and Meryl is like, "Didn't you just see what happened?
Proctor, for God's sake, man!" That fucking kangaroo's a goddamn moron. Anyway, what do you think will happen if I hit this thing with my hammer?
He's like, well, it's got runes on it, and these might be good runes. And she's like, I don't understand them. You don't understand them. Just assume all runes are bad runes for the moment.
Can we play that game for a little while?
So they don't. They decide not to, and they go into the next room, which is the barracks. So they basically, in my mind's eye, they were in like a main hall, and then behind that was an armory, and behind that is a barracks. Yeah. And the barracks are filthy, but Srannel is basically like jumping into piles of garbage, looking to see if there's anything.
He totally is.
He finds 3 golds.
And I like the term they use for gold coins. They call them goldens.
Yes.
It's just a little detail, and I thought that was a fun detail.
And Srannel cleans the goldens by licking them, and Meryl nearly throws up.
Yeah, he sure does. He sure does. That was just a part of it.
Meryl is not happy with having seen.
No. And you got to be honest, like based on the way that fantasy, traditional nowadays fantasy treats elves, you figure they're the most likely to be like bigoted, probably because they tend to be very erudite and hoity-toity and waspy. So she's like holding down like 14 different like versions of mudblood for a kangaroo at that point.
She's gonna dip into that Harry Potter racism real quick.
Right.
you know that J.K. Rowling shit. She's gonna.
I learned it by watching you, Rowling.
That fucking turf. Anyway,
turf. Anyhow,
she's a piece of shit. That's the position of PixelLit Podcast is J.K. Rowling.
Indeed.
Fucking
and
sucks.
We'll get it to you in writing as soon as we want to.
As soon as we care. We will give it to you in writing that she sucks. So yeah, they and then they find a little pedestal device with all of these like slots in it. And Proctor is like, oh, I saw gems from Norrell's storeroom that would fit into this thing. And they're all basically just like, all right, well,
cool.
I mean, we're not outside at Norrell's.
We're kind of stuck in here now.
And then
so
there's like a pregnant pause, and meanwhile, Hargrod is like, hey, I found the stairs.
It does kind of, that moment kind of feels like when you're playing an RPG and you hit a moment where you go, oh fuck, I think there might have been a side quest that I missed here. Like there was an item that you could have gotten earlier, and you went, fuck it, let's keep going. And you get here and you're like, oh man.
Exactly. So Hargrod finds the stairs, and they go up to the second floor, and immediately they're under attack.
Yes.
There is clubs, there's spears, there's all sorts of things being swung in their direction. And basically, Merrill and Proctor make a run. They sprint for the next set of stairs. And Hargrod and Sranel basically hold off the attackers. And it's an interesting detail where these attackers are not demons, but they also don't know what the fuck they are.
They don't really give a lot of description, do they? Like it's just like
it's like they're like, we can't tell what they are. They're not demons. They're things, but what they are, we can't really define.
They're less than demons, but more than man, partly metal, partly real. I don't know. It just, they don't get a lot of descriptors here.
Yeah. So they basically, Hargrod and Sranel fight them off. They back themselves up to the stairwell that Merrill and Proctor ran up. And as soon as they get up, Proctor basically closes the path with a table. He like flips a table over the entrance to block the things from getting through. And Merrill explains to them, like, these things are under somebody's, magical command or whatever. They're just going to stand there, like, underneath this entrance. We can't go back this way. So they have to find another way. They, as they're checking the room that they're in, they find a pile of bones in which is a skull that begins to float. And this is just kind of like you probably had problems with the use of this word. Merrill calls it a lich. Like,
that's right, with a T.
Yeah, with a T. A lich with a T. And it is a floating skull. It's like a watchdog almost.
Yeah.
And it's there to protect.
It's if I may, Kevin, for the fans of ours who are Warhammer 40K fans, that it resembles a servo skull. Yes. Yeah. There's one for the supercut.
There's one for the Warhammer 40K supercut. So it's this floating skull, and it's there to basically just protect a single thing. It's not there to protect anything else in Shadowkeep. It's just one individual thing. And so Proctor starts sorting through the pile of bones and finds a book. And when Proctor tries to touch it, the lich just, like, its eyes glow and burns Proctor's arm. And Hargrod destroys it with one swift blow from his axe, shattering it across the room. And basically, it gave Proctor, like, instantaneous sunburn on his arm where it was looking. So I imagine if its gaze kept looking at him, he probably would have been, like, melted or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like a kind of light death ray sort of situation.
Yeah. And then also, so after Hargrod breaks the skull, he finds a gem inside of it, which is the life essence of the lich that Merrill explains. Maybe that'll come back later. I'm not sure. I feel like it's either we're setting a lot of little breadcrumbs to come back to here, or this is literally like a dungeon crawl sort of thing where it's just like, no, that's his reward. He gets a gem. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is either. And we probably could have found out had Sranel for the second time in four rooms decides to touch something.
Jesus Christ. This is anti-Rue propaganda. That's what this is. These are Rue stereotypes.
That's what this book is. Basically, there's a case, a sword case, and Sranel's like, I'm gonna open it, and he opens it, and out comes poison gas. Whoops! It was trapped. What? And it, like, knocks Sranel out. Hargrod, like, grabs Sranel, throws him over his shoulder. It blinds Proctor and Merrill, and Hargrod has to, like, save everybody, like, dragging them out of the room and into a hallway so they can recover. It's like
if I was volunteered for this mission by my grandmother or whatever, the senior mother thing, I'd be so pissed at this point. I'm like, are you serious?
Like, oh my God. These people are so dumb.
No, they're meant. No, this is Darwin at its finest. They're meant to go. Like, why am I here? I am just slowing down evolution.
So Hargrod gets them out, and Proctor basically makes an announcement that no one is allowed to touch anything unless Merrill says so. And he's like, not even himself. He's like taking taking it off himself and saying, it's Merrill that has to determine whether it's safe to touch.
Because I almost fucked up too. I'm not gonna let myself go for that one.
Yeah. So new rule, new. Thanks for the safety tip, Egon.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they find a troll sitting behind a desk waiting for his lunch.
Just hanging out.
He's like, do you guys have my lunch? And we're like, oh, sorry, we're not Postmates. And he's like, that's fine. I'll eat you instead.
Well, I love, by the way, that he says, I'm waiting for my lunch, which I thought was a setup for him to say, no, you're my lunch, because they go and they say, well, yeah, sorry, we didn't bring you any lunch. And he goes, well, the person who's supposed to bring me my lunch will be punished for that. But for now, I'm going to... So he actually was waiting for his lunch.
He was literally just sitting there waiting to eat his lunch.
I wonder who caters Shadowkeep. Or do they just do Jimmy John's like everybody else?
Jimmy John's.
Please sponsor us, Jimmy John's.
It's basically... The only businesses in Kept Basin are Norrell's Inn and then a Jimmy John's.
Right, exactly. Free smells, the neon sign up in the
windows. So the troll's like, that's basically this entire sequence is the troll going, and they're like, they Scooby-Doo on out of there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Leaving a cloud in their oon shapes behind.
There's a shaggy-shaped cloud behind them as they run.
Zoinks!
Like, zoinks, Scoob! And Hargrod, really earning his life debt here, basically is like running backwards with them and killing all the little trolls that the big troll releases to cover their escape. Like, Hargrod really just doing the work here.
He just... Is there a better MVP than Hargrod at this point?
It's like, here, you are all like second level people. We're giving you this like level 10 fighter.
That's exactly what it is. If you ever play WoW and you're in an instance or something like that, and everybody's the appropriate level except for that one guy who's so-and-so's friend who's walking you guys through it. Like, that's basically what Hargrod is. He's just double the level of everybody else.
Yeah. So they run down a hallway, and Merrill is basically doing her intuition thing, and she's like, no, go right here. And they go because they reach an intersection. And then they go down a different hallway, and then they reach another like intersection where it kind of branches off into three paths. And she's like, all right, we got to go down the right one. And Serrano's like, what do you mean they're all going to be dead ends? Like, because Serrano like went ahead and like quickly looked at the end of each hallway. He's like, they're all dead ends. And she's like, no, we got to go down this one. And she gets to, the party gets to the end of the hallway. The trolls are still coming after them. And she's like, look at this wall. And it's like subtly changing colors. And they're like, well, what is it? And she's like, well, it's a wall, but there's something behind it. And like, what's behind it? I don't know, but something is behind it.
But something's behind it.
So they take a leap, and it's a portal. And they run through the portal. And it's a really nice moment where they get through the portal, and then one of the trolls reaches its arm out through the portal as well. And Merrill takes a little bit of a dust from a pouch and sprays it onto the wall and says some magic stuff. And the portal closes with with the troll's arm on the other side, and it cuts it off, and the troll's arm falls to the ground. And they say they hear like screaming somewhere else in Shadowkeep.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, we're reaching a whole weird area here with Merrill too, where like, is she a mage?
Yeah, not. Like, I don't think she's specifically a mage, but the thing I kind of view her as is in Elden Ring, they had this class of basically this specialty that you could pick up called perfuming. So there are these enemies called perfumers where they, like, instead of casting a fire spell, they would take like a dust and throw it into the air, and that would cause like explode, like little fire to appear in the air. So like the perfumers, like their entire thing was using like dust and perfumes and other tangible things to create something that normally like a wizard would just like cast a spell or what have you. Perfumers used like magical stuff instead.
So like almost an alchemist kind of situation.
Kind of like an alchemist character, yeah. So I think part of her studies is like she knows a lot about magic. She knows a lot about a lot of things, but she specifically knows a lot about magic, not necessarily as in she's a magician or a mage, but she knows how to close a portal, for example.
Right. She's just, she's like this kind of intellectual jack of all trades.
Right. Right.
Interesting.
Which is, because in D&D, what is it? Which one is it that learns magic by studying it? Wizard. Okay. So it's like a wizard, but she has studied it, but she doesn't actually do it. She just knows it. You know,
it makes for an interest because they talk about mages, they talk about wizards. So magic is an existing force in this, but you know, we don't have a mage. It makes for an interesting class, I suppose, a class dynamic between all of them. It's just It's she's a really interesting character, I guess.
She is. Yeah. So they continue on, and they are somewhere else in Shadowkeep. They actually don't know where they are now because they've gone through this portal, and they don't know what floor they're on. They know though that
fully warp zoned.
They warp zoned. They Super Mario Brothers. They skipped a few stages here.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it seems like they're in. They don't say it specifically. It seems like Gorewither's like throne room, or just like his. Because there's a chair. There's like plenty of space for people to just kind of like mill about and hang out. Like if he was like having a meeting of a bunch of other wizards or something like that, they could. And his chair is at the head of the room, and it has some the chair, and fucking Sranel touches the chair.
Of course. And this time they're like, well, maybe he's right this time. Shut up. He's not.
He's not. The chair starts glowing. Basically, the chair has some magical properties. I think the way they explain it is like it would give the person who sits in it possibly like Gorewither's knowledge. But they're like, or not. We're not going to touch it.
Or maybe let's not do that thing.
And Meryl's like, Proctor, why don't you sit in it? And Proctor's like, no.
just no.
I'd rather not.
Like, at least Proctor learned his lesson. You got to give it to him.
So there's this magical chair, and they have the option to sit in it, and all of them check the no box, and they're like, we're moving.
Moving on, people.
So nobody has any, and meanwhile, though, Sranel has left the room, and our section ends for this evening, ends with Sranel screaming from another room. And that's where we leave off because
we can only hope that third time's the charm and he's finally dead.
Yes.
What the fuck, Srannel?
What the fuck? So
we were all rooting for you.
So we're 2/3 of the way through the book. How are you feeling with the book so far?
I'm still really enjoying it.
It's still a lot of fun. There's so many fun character moments. Like the characters the characters are really, they have a shit ton of faults, you know?
Yes.
Merrill is arrogant. Proctor is sexist. And
just so ready to forget about his girlfriend.
About Ricency. Yeah. Srannel seems he's got a lot of moxie and enthusiasm, and that is matched by his being as dumb as a box of rocks situationally. As a rogue, that seems about right.
and our tank loves too much. So everybody's got equal, issue.
Our tank is
I think he should have left by now.
He should have left by now. The tank is being played by a 16-year-old, and he's been told by his mom that he has to play with his 9-year-old younger brother and his friends. And he's like, all right, so
he's got to keep him out of trouble as best
I'm only
as he
doing
can,
it if I can use my
pissed.
character. And so that's the vibe I get from Hargrod.
I feel like we need he's just earned so much at this point. You're like, all right, he got that one gem, but I feel like he gets half of the treasure, and then the rest of them divvy up the other half. I think he's earned it at this point.
He's earned it at this point. So we have one episode left of Shadowkeep. Really burning through this book. Yeah. I mean,
it's an easy one, isn't it? It's very page turny.
It's page turny. It's pretty easy to break down everything that's happening in each chapter. So we got about 80 or so pages left. So we'll be good to go next episode. And now for our new. I guess it's no longer new. We've been doing it for a few weeks.
Brand
new, new-ish.
Yeah.
Now for a segment I like to call "What Are You Playing?" So what are you playing, Phil?
I think I'm about done with Dead Space 3.
Okay.
I haven't completed it. I just don't think I want to play it anymore. It's just it isn't getting much better. There's still a level of the stuff that you like from Dead Space, but it's getting really monotonous.
Oh, gotcha.
And when it isn't monotonous, you're dealing with a storyline that is intensely stupid.
Right.
There's just it's why do I give a shit about if he gets the girl? There's way too much emo drama about my ex-girlfriend who has a new boyfriend who wants to kill us because he doesn't like that I'm her ex-boyfriend.
Right.
Too much boyfriend drama.
Way too much boyfriend
Space.
drama. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, his ex-girlfriend is smoking hot, but so
yeah.
I understand, but also, come on, man.
It's just it's embarrassing. I feel kind of like every time a cutscene starts in, I kind of preemptively cringe.
Yeah.
Or I'm just I am not going to care.
The cringe
about
is
the next,
strong.
Right. And you can't skip it. So I'm at chapter 15, which means I'm about 75% of the way through, which feels like it'd be a shame to quit now, but I'm genuinely feeling like I might be soon.
Yeah.
But it's not all bad news. I am also playing a game called Ravenous Devils.
Oh, what is that?
I think this one came out this year. It is essentially, do you know Sweeney Todd?
Yes.
The Demon Barber
of Fleet Street.
This is essentially Sweeney Todd the game.
Played by Johnny Depp in the movie version. And I believe everyone agrees that that's the best version, right? It is.
There are no other versions
There
to
are
compare
no
it
other versions of Sweeney Todd.
and there never will have to be. It'll just be that until, because when you get it right, you don't futz with it.
When you're Tim Burton and Johnny Depp, they're gonna get it right
every time.
Every time.
Every time. So yeah, this was them saying a tribute to that in game form, because they don't want to fuck with the music, that classic operatic voice that Depp and Helena Bonham Carter is known for. I almost got through it. Very long
pause. Helena.
Yeah, but Ravenous Devils is it's a kind of a simulation strategy game where you play a couple. You have two characters, and the husband is a tailor instead of a barber, and the wife is a pie maker. And it works very much in the same way as the plot line of Sweeney Todd, where you open up a pie shop on the bottom of the house and a tailor's on the top of the house. And when somebody comes by to look at your clothes, you kill them, steal their clothes, kind of like redo them so they look nice and new and everything. Send the body down the chute, and then you swap to the wife and grind up the body, make pies out of it, swap back up. It's very tense. You have to swap back and forth.
Yeah.
You have to time things out just right. And the whole idea is you want to keep the customers happy, because if they're not happy, they might start to notice some of the suspicious shit that's going on. And you do get kind of a plot line, like people kind of blackmailing you, and you get little missions. But the whole thing is basically upgrading your shops so that things are easier. You get more mannequins to hang more clothes on, more tables for people to eat more cannibal pies.
It's great.
It's a lot of fun. I think it was $5.
Yeah. I was looking at it at Steam just now.
Yeah, it's tense. It's fun. It's not perfect. It's got some bugs in it. I actually have to start over because they try to walk you through the tutorial kind of stuff bit by bit as you go, which is, I think, a better way to do things instead of top loading it. But unfortunately, I've run into an issue where I got ahead of them a little bit, and it just fucked up the tutorial section because, so you kind of have to go at their pace sometimes, which is frustrating.
That is the worst. I mean, I understand the benefit that tutorials bring, but this happens a lot even in regular software or web apps, where I'll be like, all right, I know exactly what I want to go do. And it's like, well, hold up there, partner. We're going to run you through the tutorial. And there's like no obvious way to just close the tutorial out. And you're like, no, I got to go click on the thing. And they're like, first, you're going to want to click over here. Be like, I don't need to click over there. I need to click over here.
You can't skip it. And
it's like, and then, the Clippy appears on screen. And it's like, looks like you're having trouble clicking the next button. And you're like, fucking Clippy. And then the guy, the Mr. DNA from Jurassic Park appears on the screen, and he's like, this tutorial was built with Dono DNA.
It comes from your blood. Yeah, it's a lot like that. And I think it would be one thing if the mechanics of this game were truly unique and very kind of confusing and that, but these are pretty well-worn mechanics, which is fine. That, we don't have to redo the wheel every single time. But I feel like you get, it's kind of like being a DM with D&D and that sort of thing, and you get too far ahead of it, and you railroad people a little bit if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get back into it, but I did have to take a break because I was frustrated, because basically I knew I was going to have to start all over.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know that feeling.
But that's what you run into with these indie games, and it makes it, these things can be worth it. And so far it is. I'm enjoying it so far. So
yeah,
Ravenous Devils, I mean, $5. It's worth a look. It's
like a sideways thumbs tilting up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Solid B right now.
What am I playing this past week?
Yes, sir.
So I was prepping for my daughter's birthday party. So I was basically playing things that I had previously played. So yeah, this week was a lot of 20 minutes till dawn. There's been some updates to 20 minutes till dawn, and there's some content updates to Vampire Survivors, which I was back in. I was back on my bullshit, getting the new achievements. They added the final boss, so you can fight the final boss now, which I did, and I beat it. So does that mean I stopped playing the game? No, it doesn't.
Nope.
I still have more achievements to get.
I have never played a game that was so welcoming to get back into after I hadn't played it for like a week.
Yeah. And you know what it is the developer used to work on slot machines.
Well, son of a bitch. That explains everything. Oh my God. No, that explains everything about this game. Holy shit. How am I just hearing that? That makes so much sense. Oh my God.
Yep. The developer knows how to, like, I was thinking about the other day, I was like, oh man, this game would be, if this game had microtransactions, they would be so predatory.
They'd rule the world.
Thank God it doesn't. And the game still only costs $2.99.
Right. God. Good God. That would be insane.
That would be the worst. But no, I don't know. I know the next update is version 1 and they're out of early access, I believe.
Okay. So after this next update is it's
pretty much going to be it, I think, unless they do some big,
until they start doing expansions
and DLC or what have you. But yeah, I mean, it's still a fun game, and it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, you know, I'll play it a little bit, and then suddenly I've added 10 more hours to my playtime of this game. It's ridiculous. I'm also still playing the Quarry here and there, just trying to round out some of the achievements on there. They just did some little updates for, you know, there's a little content patch that they added where they added 80s throwback character outfits DLC.
Oh, that's fun.
For all the characters. And they added a new online multiplayer mode where you can have 7 friends that have the game, and basically the 7 friends can play along with you, and everybody votes on the decisions.
Oh, we've got to do that.
Yeah.
Because I want to get this game anyhow. We need to find out who in our group has this game.
Yeah.
Because that sounds fun as shit.
It does. Otherwise, nothing. I'm not playing anything new at the moment. Just kind of working through some old stuff. But hey, look at that! There's a weekend deal. All right. This is. You know what? This episode's going to come out after the offer ends. So I'm going to tell you, Phil, right now.
This is always bad news for Phil.
Control is 70% off right now.
You liked Control a lot, as I recall.
I did.
Okay. And that's that, was it SPC?
Yes, it is. It is, basically, it is set in the same universe as Alan Wake.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
It's Remedy makes it, and it's set in the same universe as Alan Wake. There's actually some Alan Wake tie-ins to the game.
Nice.
So, SCP. It's very SCP-like, where you are going into this unidentified government bureau to rescue your brother, and basically the entire building. It's called The Oldest House, I believe.
Okay.
And there's some weird like Norse mythology tie-ins to it. that are never fully explained. And that's actually kind of the thing I like about it, is like a lot of people would say, oh, Control, I hate that they don't explain everything. And I'm like, man, I fucking love that they just like, yep, it has something to do with Yggdrasil. Maybe.
Well, that used to be what was great about those things, man. Like, yeah, like
maybe. Anyway, we got to keep moving, and be like, no, wait, what was that? And be like, wait, we do not have time to explain. We got to keep moving.
I like that. That's awesome.
It'd be like, you go through this one portal and be like, why am I in the middle of the night sky? I'd be like, why wouldn't you be? What?
Of course you are.
Moving on.
Huh? Yeah. No, that's just where you are. But why though? Just trust me.
It's a weird building. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you're not catching up to the fact that it's really fucking weird in here.
I love that shit. We need more room for that. Like,
we need more room for weird just for weird's sake in
absolutely.
Media. Not everything needs to be footnoted and explained.
No, we don't need to overexpose everything.
I'm going to write a story with magic in it, and I'm not going to explain how magic works in that universe.
Good.
You know what?
Good.
The rules are not even going to be consistent. There's going to be no consistent rules. Why? It's fucking magic.
Consistency.
It's magic.
Pure chaos.
It's chaos. It is chaos. It works sometimes because you want it to work. It works sometimes because you don't want it to work. I love it. It's yeah. So, but that'll do it. That'll absolutely do it for tonight's episode. So if you want to help us out, if you really truly want to help us out,
and
give us a follow. Give us a follow on your podcatcher of choice and rate us 5 stars or whatever rating system they have. But yeah, iTunes and Spotify, rate us 5 stars. Really helps out. On iTunes, if you could leave a written review, that would be even doubly helpful. Follow us on Instagram and the Twitters at PixelLit Pod. Check out our website at pixelitpod.com, where it has links to the Discord and our Steam curator group, where you can see our curated reviews for the games that we talk about in the What Are You Playing segment.
Yes.
So that'll do it for tonight's episode. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.